A very good morning to Total Nora Chicken and all my fellow friends. We are from Group 10. Today we will present the topic about Henry Mintzberg. First of all, my name is Kong Hao Lun. Matrix number is 255019. And I will start with the part 1.1, Introduction of Management Scholar. In this part, I will talk about some introduction and background about Henry Mintzberg. Henry Mintzberg is popular as a leading thinker in the field of management and has a reputation as iconoclast who in the field of management challenge or disprove many establishment concept and idea. He is a management expert, internationally renowned academician, and a business management author. He was born in Montreal, Canada on September 2nd, 1939. He is currently holding the Creighton Professor of Management Study at the Dissertation Faculty of Management of McGill University in Montreal, Canada, a place where he has been teaching since 1968. Here is some education background of Mintzberg. Mintzberg graduated in 1961 with a bachelor degree in mechanical engineering from the Faculty of Engineering of McGill University in Montreal, and with another bachelor degree in general art from Sir George William, now called Concordia University in 1962. In 1968 and 1965, he completed his master's degree in management and PhD from the MIT School of Management. He also returned to McGill University and became a full professor in 1978. From 1980 until now, he holds the Creighton Chair of Management Study. Mintzberg has authored or co-authored around 20 books, which are including The Nature of Managerial Work, The Structuring of Organizations, and The Rise and Fall of Strategic Planning. These are some examples of the books he has authored. Besides that, he has won the McKinsey Award in 1975 and 1987 for publishing the best article in the Harvard Business Review. In 2005, he also had received the prize Strategic Management Journal Best Paper. Next, in section 1.2, I will explain about the management theory of Henry Mintzberg. First is 10 managerial roles. This is a general idea behind Henry Mintzberg management role. In this theory, it has covered the tasks and responsibility that a manager must take on at one point or another. First of all, we must understand what is a manager. A manager can be described as someone who is in charge of an organization or subgroup by giving the authority. In this theory, it had explained what managers actually do in daily. That had been divided into three groups, which is interpersonal, informational, and decisional to help to better organize the long list of 10 roles. I will explain roughly about the 10 rules in this theory, and my friend in next part, application of the management theory, will explain more detail. First is interpersonal role. The managerial roles in this category involve providing information and idea. There are three roles inside this category. First is figurehead. As a figurehead, manager will represent their company in a professional way and people look up to them as a person with authority. Second is leader. As a leader, manager must interacting with their colleagues and staff, encouraging and motivating them. Third is liaison. As a liaison, manager must communicate with internal and external contact, and they are responsible for networking outside of their company. Next category is informational role. The managerial role in this part involves processing information to others. There are also three roles in this category. First is monitor. As a monitor, managers are responsible seeing information inside and outside of their organization and industry to analyze their organization operation and identify the issue that need to be solved. Second is disseminator. Managers should communicate potentially useful and valuable information to their team and employees. Third is spokesperson. As a spokesperson, managers are representing and speak to outside entity for their organization. Last category is decisional role. The managerial role in this category involves using information. There are four roles in this category. First is entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, manager should inspire change, creativity, and innovation and solve the problem inside the organization. Second is disturbance handler. Manager can handle any external or internal challenges hit by the team or organization. Third is resources allocator. Manager must allocate and oversee the different and various resources that are available. And the last is negotiator. Managers are responsible for participating and directing negotiation within their team, department, or organization. In this theory, each managerial role is necessary and important to automate the effectiveness of a manager. And all of this has been Mintzberg managerial role. Next theory is about the organizational model. Henry Mintzberg also discussed the mode of organization model and how different parts of the group function together. Mintzberg suggests that organization could be differentiated according to three basic dimensions. First is the key part of the organization. Second is the prime coordinating mechanism. Third is the type of decentralization used. They have 6 parts inside the key part of the organization. The key part of the organization is the part of the organization that play a significant role in determining organizational success or field. They develop goal, company policy, strategic plan, and making the organization important decision. The first part inside this category is strategy apex. Strategy apex refer to the board of director and senior management team of an organization. Example like the key decision maker inside the organization. Next is middle line. Middle line refer to the middle management team in the organization. Next part is operating core. Operating core refer the operational processes in the organization. Then is support staff. Support staff refer to the team of staff support outside of operation processes and technician support such as research and development and public relations. Next part is technostructure. Technostructure refer to the technical support team and system. And the last part inside the key part of the organization is ideology. Ideology refer to the culture of the organization. Next is the prime coordinating mechanism. This is a part that plays a significant matter in the organization when it is organizing its operation. There are 5 methods inside this category. First is direct supervision. Direct supervision means that one individual is responsible of the work of others. This concept refers to the one-to-many monitoring of work process. For example, every employee or group report directly to a manager. Second is the standardization of work process. It will occur when the content of the work is specific or programmed and follow a predefined path and a set of rules. Third is standardization of skill. It will happen when determining the kind of training required to do the work and ensuring that everybody inside the organization will have the same knowledge and qualification. Next is standardization of output. This will exist when the results of the work are specified and set up measure for the outcome of the work. And the last inside this category is mutual adjustment. This will happen when individuals coordinate their own work and communication between here through the informal communication. As a result of a high level of cooperation, it is normally used in very small and simple organizations. And the last category is the type of decentralization used. This is the extent to which the subordinates are involved in the organization's decision-making process. There are three categories inside this group. First is vertical decentralization. Vertical decentralization is the distribution in every organization of power down the chain of command or share authority between the superior and subordinated. Second is the horizontal decentralization. Horizontal decentralization is the extent to which decisions are made by non-administrated or shared authority between the line and staff. And the last one is selective decentralization. Selective decentralization is the extent to which decision-making power is delegated to different units within the organization. Next is about organizational structure. By using the three basic dimensions we have discussed just now, the key part of the organization, the prime coordinating mechanism, and the type of decentralization, Mintzberg has suggested that we can adopt the three basic dimensions into the five different structural configurations, which are simple structure, machine bureaucracy, professional bureaucracy, division form, and ad hoc policy. And inside the slide, we can see we have summarized the three basic dimensions associated with each of the five structural configurations. First is the simple structure, and or we can call it as entrepreneur organization. This type of organization has a simple and flat structure. It consists its key part the strategy apex, use the direct supervision and apply the vertical and horizontal centralization. Example of this type of organization are relevantly SME type. Compared with other form of organization, this type of organization is relatively unstructured and informal, and the lack of standardized system enable this type of organization to be very flexible than other. The key person will make all the decisions. Okay, next is the machine bureaucracy. The machine bureaucracy organization has the technostructure as its main component, use standardization of work processes as its prime coordinating mechanism, and apply limited horizontal decentralization. Inside this type of organization, work is very formalized and there are many routine and procedure. Decision making is centralized and the tasks are grouped by the functional department. For example, using this type of organization are automobile manufacturer, steel company, and some companies that are very large. The main focus in this structure is emphasize on division of labor and unit differentiation. And the third structure is professional bureaucracy. This type of organization structure have the operating core as its main component. It uses standardization of skill as its prime coordinating mechanism and apply vertical and horizontal decentralization. The organization is very formalized but decentralized to provide the autonomy to the professionals. The main difference between this type of organization and the machine bureaucracy is that this type of organization rely on highly trained professionals who demand control of their own work. This structure is typical when the organization contains many knowledge workers, and it is why it's common in places such as school, college, university, account firm, and the law firm. And the next is divisional form. The divisional form has the middle line as its key part, use standardization of output as its prime coordinating mechanism, and employ limited vertical decentralization. In large and mature organizations that have a number of brands, produce a wide range of products, or operated in different geographical regions, we will see this form of structure. Divisional structure main advantage is that it helps the line manager to maintain more control and responsibility than in a machine bureaucracy structure. And the last is autocracy. The structure discussed so far are best suited to the traditional organization, but for the new organization need to innovated and function on an ad hoc basis to survive. As its key part, the autocracy has the support staff use mutual adjustment as a means of coordination and maintains selective pattern of decentralization. This structure tend to be low in formalization and decentralization. Innovation and rapid adaptation to changing environment is the primary goal for this structure. Example like the project-based sector like filmmaking, consulting, and high technology firms are often use this structure. Here, organizations usually bring in experts from a variety of areas to form a creative and innovative and functional team. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Very good day to Dr. Noshiki and to all my fellow friends. So my name is Chi Junzi and my measuring number is 255026. And next I will present about the application of the management theory that's suggested by Henry Mintzberg. So as we knew, Henry Mintzberg had suggested 10 managerial roles which had divided into 3 categories, which are interpersonal roles, informational roles, and decisional roles. And Mintzberg also suggested 8 managerial job types, and each of it emphasizing a combination of these 10 key roles. So first of all, I will talk about the interpersonal roles, which consists of 3 roles, which are figurehead, leader, and the liaison. So first, as a figurehead, managers are responsible for social and perform legal and ceremonial duties such as signing a document or a contract because they are recognized as a symbol of authority and status that, that representing their organization. So a manager need to build their image and reputation with showing good behavior such as foster humility and empathy. They should also need to learn and think about how to become a role model in their organizations. And for the job type that's suggested is contact man. Contact man is a manager need to spend more their time outside the organization, such as like attending a function and giving speeches. And so public relations and building relationships with the outsider are emphasized by the contact man. And next, as a leader, manager need to play this role which able to like communicate, motivate, and inspire the employees to build relationships with them in order to achieve goals. For example, managers should supervising employees' progress, promote and encourage their development. Then the job type suggested is a team manager. Team manager is oriented to building a highly cohesive group which can be categorized by high moral and mutual support among its members. And the last roles of interpersonal role is the liaison. So liaison, as a liaison, a manager need responsible to maintain networking with outsiders such as government, other companies, and trade organization representative to get information. And this as a liaison, the manager must engage in the information exchange with outsiders to gain as much knowledge and information as possible while making sure those informations are correct and true. So the job type that suggested is a contact man or new manager. Which they are need to keep working with the outsider to get information like their what is going on the situation so they can get the knowledge or information to help to support their business. So next, there are 3 roles that consist in informational roles, which are monitor, disseminator, and spokesperson. So first one, monitor. Managers are critical in monitoring the changes in the organization because the thing is never static is in business. So therefore, managers must frequently monitor the situation around organizations and make quick changes when necessary. So for the job type suggested is expert or new manager. Next, that is disseminator. The disseminator, a good disseminator, needs to have a good communication skills to convey facts and value types of information to the subordinates. And the last role, manager also have to become the representative of their team to share the information about their organization to the outsiders and assume the role of the spokesperson for the public and influencers, right, such as attending a conference. So the job type they suggested is political and expert manager. For the last category of managerial roles, which is decisional roles, and there are four roles under this category, which are entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resources allocators, and negotiator. So first, to play entrepreneur roles, a manager should stimulate change and innovation. They should also work on their problem solving and creativity skills to help in generate and implement new creative ideas that support the organizations to move forward. And the job type suggested is entrepreneur. So the second role is disturbance handler. As a disturbance handler, the manager needs to make decisions or take urgent attention and actions to handle any internal and external issues or conflict that arise beyond their control and is unexpected, such as a strike or supplier reneging on the contract. And decide, the job type suggested is the real-time manager. And for the third role is the resources allocators. As a resources allocators, a manager needs to learn how to manage a budget, cut costs, and prioritize to make the best allocation of resources such as the money, people, equipment, and raw material to ensure task completion and meet the goals and objectives while minimizing the cost and increase competitiveness of organizations. And for the last role is the negotiator. Managers have to be able to negotiate with employees to get them to work towards the goal of the project and adopt a role that suits their skills to resolve problems or set the performance expectations. For other instance, like the purchasing manager need to negotiate price of materials with the suppliers in order to minimize the costs. So moreover, there are five popular organizational structures that suggested by Henry Mintzberg. For the first one is simple structure, which also known as entrepreneurial organization. The design of simple structure are with low departmentalization, little work specialization, well spans of control, centralized authority, which typically the owner had the most of the power. And it is consists of a few managers and multiple subordinates. And since the organization is small, coordination is informal and direct supervision by the manager, mostly the owner. And employees are working on overlapping duties. And simple structure is adapt fast to the environmental changes. For example, a restaurant will have a simple structure organization, which all the workers is direct supervisions by the owner. And as the organization expanding, their organization structures might transfer from simple structure to machine bureaucracy. So the second organization structure is machine bureaucracy, which employees work as parts of a machine and they are achieve efficiencies through work standardization and usually apply formal operating rules with centralization, which means that power flows from the top level management to the lower level management. And workers responsible for their own tasks in their own department with centralized decision making. And the workers usually work routine tasks in the machine bureaucracy. For a example, which is Delta Airlines. Delta Airlines employs standardized procedure for different worker groups such as the pilots, the flight attendants, and ground support staff. And the different work groups are well organizing and indirectly the labor costs reduced. And Delta Airlines adopt machine bureaucracy, which also help them from having a structured environment with a strong strategy apex. So furthermore, the third organization structure is professional bureaucracy. Employees are highly trained professionals to provide non-conventional services to the customers. So for an example of professional bureaucracy is a university, which provides complex services that needed highly trained professionals, such as professors or lecturers that highly trained professionals to provide information based on specific fields to the students. For other instances, general hospitals, public accounting firms, and craft productions firms also are the example of professional bureaucracy because it rely on the skills and knowledge of their operating professional to function and produce standardization products or services. Next, the fourth organizational structure is divisional form, which it diverse work among various divisions and each division focuses on its roles and activities. And this type of organizational structure is provides a great deal and flexibility because it allows work groups to focus on a single product or service in separate division rather than diverted by the central authority. For an example of divisional form is an automobile manufacturer which divides the work by create various divisions such as car division, truck divisions, and SUV division. And those divisions must have the employees with specialized skills and knowledge to resolve problems based on the specific aspect. For example, engineers at the SUV division are experts at dealing with SUV and able to handle problems that related to it. Alternatively, they might also create division based on different geographic markets such as Asia and Europe, and this might help the company easier to find out problems throughout the whole organization because, for example, in automobile manufacturer, if there is a problem with sales in the Asia market, the company can directly confront to the Asia division. Next, for the last organizational structure, which is autocracy, which indicate task-based and must respond quickly and flexibly to the changing demand in the market. And it is more engaged in unconventional tasks and use advanced technology. Usually, this organizational structure is used in filmmaking, consulting, and pharmaceutical structure, which are project-based industries which needed experts from variety areas to form a creative and functional team. Even the organization is difficult to control due to the decentralized. Autocracy has the advantage of maintaining a central talent pool that can attract them at any time to solve problems and work in highly flexible manner. And the employees basically move from team to team as a project are completed and a new project that developed. Therefore, autocracy organizations can respond rapidly to changes by assembling skilled experts that are able to face new challenges. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello guys, my name is Muhammad bin Arsad. My metric number is 231013. So I will explain about contribution or benefit of management theory by Henry Mintzberg. So what is the contribution and benefit of Henry Mintzberg management theory? As we all know, Henry Mintzberg is a management expert that simplified the complex of the management skill and responsibility to be more efficient and organized. He breaking down the management role to help the individual or the company to develop their skill and knowledge so that they can work to be more efficient and more organized. Henry Mintzberg divides his management theory by three categories. The first is informational, interpersonal, and decisional. The first contribution that we must look on is providing information and ideas, as well we call that informational. He emphasized on how important of the effective leader will give the visionary goal to the individual as well as the organization. This is because a responsible leader will give a source of inspiration to the organization. Next, people in the organization tend to be more willingly follow a good leader. This is because Henry Mintzberg created the theories that shows a visual management that can be workable and practical as well as to be more motivation and inspiration to the organization. Modern organizations are significantly influenced by Henry Mintzberg because he provided a realistic approach toward a leader. He showed that how the information processed by conducting the monitoring, taking care, and giving the guideline to the organization so that they can see the company goals. This is really beneficial to the current management because we need to analyze as well as taking the consideration before finding the issue and giving the guideline to the problem solving. According to Andrew Mintzberg's theory, leadership is a job of processing organizational information by talking and listening to different entities in the organization. This is because people in the organization tended to be more productive if they had a clear vision of their organization's goal. Okay, the next contribution that we must look on is Henry Mintzberg create an accurate and detailed for using the information and decision making as well as decisional. He created the theory that involving using the information for making a correct choice and precise decision making. For example, the information and the resources that have been collected, we must analyze and reviewing the problem before we jump to the decision making. Henry Mintzberg is teaching us by managing the resources of the information properly by participating in a meeting involving debating and decision making related to implementation and innovation. In his management theories, Henry Mintzberg emphasized on how important to manage the information and resources by analyzing the issues before making the decision that we have been applied to the current management system right now. With a set of theories that Henry Mintzberg created, we know that his contribution effectively increased the efficiency in the workplace by highlighting the understanding tasks as well as improving their skill and knowledge that can be applied to the current management.
My name is Tan Kok Sing, 2.4965. I'll be presenting the segment 1.5 Criticism of Management Scholar by Henry Mintzberg. Okay, so here I outlines several points that mention about the criticism pit against Mintzberg theory. So in Mintzberg theory, the original samples was consisted of only 5 chief executives in a company, and based on the study, Mintzberg came out with 10 managerial roles. And to criticize, we said that the original sample was too small to consider due to the number, and it was not enough to fully describe all the managerial roles conducted by the managers in the company. Okay. Second, we said to a certain degree, the manager's activities show the evidence of planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling as what proposed by Henry Fayol in the function of management. And we said somehow the same important managerial roles were left out, and the examples such as appraisal, because we said appraising is one of important roles in a company because it's needed to appraise the performance by the managers, or we said the capabilities of employees in achieving the objective or even organization goals. Okay, next we said in real workplace it's really hard to identify whether the managers are demonstrating the managerial roles proposed by Mintzberg unless it is testified objectively or recorded normatively. And here we said that because as a human being, managers also have the tendency or preferences to choose roles that are more suitable to them. For example, they might be better at interpersonal roles compared to decision making roles, and also for other as well. So here that we said that the managers, they might be may not be fully adopted all the roles proposed by Mintzberg in this theory, and they need to change the role from time to time in according to the situation that different roles are needed. Okay, then next one we said is on the studies. Here we said that we compare descriptive study and also normative study. Okay, so in descriptive study, like we focus more on what the manager is doing rather than normative study that focus on what a manager should do. And then the difference between these two is that descriptive study focus more on experimental and factual approach, where they only list out the facts of a matter, compared to normative study that they wish to explain and also show improvement on the matters. So here actually in Mintzberg theory, he already used the normative study because he wants to explain what a manager should do in the organization rather than explaining on what the manager is doing. Okay, so when using normative study, we tend to put in personal opinion or based on what we perceive, and then we said like perception from different people angle and perspective may show different stuff or different information. So as the managerial role proposed by Mintzberg, we said that the managerial roles may wrongly convey the function or even the roles demonstrated by the manager in workplace. Okay, so that's all for criticism based on what I understand. And next I'll be concluding the Henry Mintzberg theory. Okay, so here in conclusion, I also put it in 6 points. So the first one, we said that the theory proposed by Mintzberg is actually strongly supported by modern business practitioner and also top management in current business world, because it's almost perfect and also like we said kind of like explain about the managerial world. And then second, we said if a manager managed to assume all 10 managerial roles and apply it in an organization, then we said the organization would definitely be blooming with talents. And also we said great management skill and also knowledge, because they totally know how to fully utilize all the resources they have in an organization. And the third one, we said, according to Mintzberg, he said that the effort of individual manager does not contribute to success of organization. And this is a fact because we know that depending on managers only is not enough, because he is only the leader, but we also need the efforts and also cooperation from the employees, because like most of people said that the people is the asset in the organization, because what would a company be without its employee, right, in achieving the objective and also goal. Okay, then the fourth one we said is allow the management level to gain valuable insight, because using the different roles and also the approach that the managers are allowed to take a look inside the situation of organization, and by interacting with the employees and get to know more about the organization. We said, for example, if managers talk to each other, for example, managers from different departments, like the other managers may adopt some methods that utilize in another department and use it in his own department for improvement or for any betterments, we said, that may benefit the organization. And fifth one, we said as a manager, that the person know what is best for the management, because they are the one holding the position and they oversee the whole organization or partly of it, so they know how the function and they can identify the mistake in it as well. Okay, then last one, we said about the single model cannot wholly encompass the concept of management, because like due to the time being, that we said all the stuff may improve from time to time. So for now, the Mintzberg show the highest relevant to the modern management, but as time moves on, it may not be so, but still it will be still practical for those who wishes to dwell in management world. So I think that's it for my part, and thank you for listening.